now the last character, and we don't get a lot of him, but I think deserves merit, is Santa Claus, because he is the only ray of hope other than Sally in the film at all, and he is the generator of goodwill and hope, and he's telling Oogie Boogie, "You're wrong. This is wrong," and not knowing what to do, but he is, in my opinion, the only generator of hope in the other than Sally, who reflects hope but isn't a generator of it like Santa Claus is.
In the end, Santa's almost a MacGuffin. Just
Yeah.
because he's kind of neat. They need to retrieve him and put him back on his path for everything to be okay.
Yeah, he's kind of a means to an end, and we don't get to know too much about him other than that. And one other point was I kind of almost wish they'd done like a sequel because they did have the other trees leading to the other holidays, so I thought it would be interesting to explore the other ones, So
Well, actually, there was Disney was planning a sequel to The Nightmare Before Christmas, but unfortunately, I believe the project was cancelled in the early 2000s. But there is, in fact, a video game of The Nightmare Before Christmas, which essentially depicts Oogie Boogie's return. So,
did it go into the other worlds, if I can ask?
I don't know. I've never played it.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, in the Kingdom Heart series, you visit Halloween Town, and then you do get to visit Christmas Town, but that's it. You're confined to those two worlds. And I thought it was cool because you get to fight Oogie Boogie, and you get to have Jack Skeleton as your partner. You don't get to control him. He's a non-player character that helps you out. And I always appreciate when they re-include that because it's such an interesting world to visit. But I would like to see like a Nightmare Before Valentine's Day or something,
Honestly, I was thinking about it, and I am terrified at the concept of going to those other worlds because at Halloween Town you have a lake, you have somewhere to stand, and in Christmas Town you have somewhere to stand. But what the hell would Thanksgiving World look like? Would that just be turkeys, pilgrims, and like
Indians.
would it be living mashed potatoes or something? I don't know what that would be.
Oh, and if those kids were to try to usurp Valentine's Day, then Oogie Boogie would just eat Cupid in one gulp.
Cupid or Athena or whatever pagan concepts are at the center of that. And like I was saying, St. Paddy's Day would probably just be a huge Irish stereotype fest. It would be the most offensive world in the entire grove of tree worlds. Or whatever.
Oh, dude.
Oh God, could you imagine if they had included
Hanukkah.
Jesus somewhere?
Yeah,
It's like
that wouldn't.
he and Jesus and Jack team up to save Santa and Sally.
Well, there was a similar concept in a South Park episode. Say, Jesus and Santa Claus team up to bring Christmas to Iraq.
Yeah. Well, I mean, these are secular worlds, and maybe it is better that we know that they're there. But we don't go to visit them. Maybe that was a good idea not to visit any of those other holiday worlds.
I wouldn't want to see the rivers of gravy in the Thanksgiving world. So let's leave it at Christmas.
Leave it at Christmas and Halloween.
Leading back to Santa Claus's depiction in The Nightmare Before Christmas, it's worth. I was upon first watching this film, I was struck by how ineffectual Santa Claus appeared, to me at least. He seems almost mortal in this film, meaning that, say, he can be kidnapped by 3 children and a burlap sack. He can be held captive. Santa Claus, of all iconic figures in our childhood can be held captive. Some kids would find that distressing, I'd imagine, or they wouldn't believe it. He has to be rescued, more crucially.
I don't know.
I
I mean, I
think
have...
Also, well, we do observe... Am I talking too much?
No.
Okay, we're both trying to talk over you. Go ahead.
We also observe Jack Skellington, distributing presents to, his own warped presents to children across the world. In which case, Santa Claus and Jack, the hero of Halloween, both have the same or very similar extent of powers. They're essentially on an equal footing. I'd imagine some viewers might disapprove of The Nightmare Before Christmas's handling of Christmas Town, in that, it's a completely secular realm. But in portraying Skellington as just as powerful as Santa, it's essentially saying that no holiday is more special than the other. They're just secular holidays. In which case, that interpretation does leave room for the religious one.
Well, I don't know.
I kind of... Sorry.
Yeah, no. No, everybody talk at the same time. No. Go ahead.
I'll just say that with Santa, I got the impression that basically when you said he needed saving, that was kind of what I was thinking. He doesn't necessarily need saving, but he knows that Jack needs to do it. I think I have this sense that even though he was kind of sarcastic with Jack in the end, that he was kind of the almost omnipotent character there. Everything that happened did kind of happen at his own. He had the choice whether to leave or not, frankly, but that's only a theory. In general, I got the impression that Jack did need the help of the mad scientist to actually get off the ground and do this. So maybe it's saying
needs help.
Maybe it's saying that he needed help to reach Santa's level.
I was gonna say my thoughts on that is I've seen other movies about Santa, and frankly, in my opinion, there's far too many movies about Santa Claus, which will lead quite well into the next review. But I've seen Santa have to be rescued more than once, so I don't think that that's too big of a pill for kids to swallow. Yeah. If I had to give some sort of rating or something, I would say 5 out of 5. This is a great film to watch on Halloween or around Christmas time. It really does fit in either case. So in that respect, it's successful in my view.
I agree. Nightmare Before Christmas has strong characters, and toe-tapping musical numbers, and ultimately presents a very interesting intersection of these two holidays. It really allows for some very personal drama. So yeah, I'd go with you. 5 out of 5.
I would call this a I don't do the number things, but I will say that this is a film that you have to watch at some point, just because A, it's only an hour, and B, it's one of the greats. It's pretty much the prime example of what Tim Burton is good at, and what people will always accuse him of just sort of working off of, and it's pretty perfect.